Pulp MX Network production.
Bringing you a cheeky Brit and an American YouTube racing sensation weekly. It's the LVK More Than Moto podcast with your hosts, Phillips and Kellen Brauer.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Leatt LVK More Than Moto podcast. I am Kellen Brauer, joined by Phillips as always, and Anaheim 2 is gone, and behind us, 3 rounds of Monster Energy Supercross in, and we have a feisty 450 championship. We have a maybe already fizzled out 250 championship, and a lot of talking points from A2 to discuss. On site, working in the media, grinding as he always does, Big Lou was there. I was there, but not in the media this weekend, so we had 2 different flavors of A2 to dissect from the weekend. But how was your vantage point, Big Lou?
Oh, it was great. Another great day at the races. I don't know if it's because, well, actually, I don't know what reason it would be for, but I seem to be very much enjoying the complete days this year. I don't know if it's more so than normal. I don't know where. I almost got myself in trouble there already, and we're less than a minute in. I was going to say maybe it's, you know what? Why would I get myself in trouble? Yeah, no, I'm all in. I'm fully in this year. I'm really enjoying myself, and I can't wait for Houston already. Although it probably won't be the same vibe because it's meant to be freezing, and I'd imagine the pits will probably be inaccessible for that reason and whatever else.
I think it's because we're used to getting there at that time always anyway, like 9-ish or whatever you want to say, and then it's over way earlier. So, like, we're back in our hotel. Like, you're back in your hotel, I would assume, by, like, 9:30. Well, your Chase interview went super long this week, but like normally about like 9:30 versus midnight.
We'll get into the ins and outs of the behind the scenes of the Chase interview, but the Chase interview, there was a 30-minute after party of the Chase interview. Like, you know how TV shows like, hey, here's the episode, and then like turn over to this channel for the cast and crew talking about the TV show. That's basically what happened. So I actually didn't get back to the hotel until 11 or so. It was actually a really late night. Like, I was really struggling to get my work done. I was quite over it, you know, just because I was like, I want to sleep. Yeah. But no, very, very good. And I feel like we got a wide-ranging variety of things to talk about on this episode. So I've actually been looking forward to this as well. I'm full of the joys.
Your Chase post show is like the SMX Insider post show, but just no one gets to see it. It's just you and Chase and all the ins and outs that we don't get to pull the curtain back on. But I will say,
explain it
your
all
Chase
at the
interviews, your Chase interviews, which we will get to at the end, the comments and the feedback in the YouTube comments that I saw is all positive. So congratulations. I know that you go in there and immediately have a comment that is something along the lines of like, don't take this serious. Yep. We're friends, blah, 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 blah. But everybody in the comments have been like, I look forward to this every week. This is the best part of the weekend, et cetera, et cetera. So you have officially landed this plane.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll discuss this at the end. Make that remark because make that remark at the end in our news segment, similar to the post show of Lewis and Chase. Our news segment here, the post show of Lewis and Kellen.
Yes, the LVK post show. No, let's get into the topics because we want to get through that and get to the post show, which everyone seemed to love last week.
Ultimately, who cares about this next hour, really?
That is going to be where we land the plane for this show. Eventually, it'll just morph into the entire show as that probably at some point. But yeah, of course, big thanks to Leatt. Leatt Protection is in our brand DNA. It started 20 years ago with the groundbreaking Leatt neck brace and continues today with an extensive product offering of protective gear and riding apparel. But what Leatt really stands for is inspiring confidence and ensuring safety with every ride. Again, be sure to visit Leatt.com, everyone. Their 2026 line of gear is hot off the presses and ready for you guys to go over there and see what they have to offer to keep you guys looking stylish heading into your 2026 race season. Okay, my first topic, and really let's just kind of unpack the 250 class really of where we're at now. The 450 main was great. We'll get to that. But I feel like the 250 class is suddenly, I don't want to say over, but blown wide open very quickly. Feels like maybe the right term to use here. Kitchen DNFs the main with a arm issue, but then says he's fine. Hymas did dislocate his shoulder, didn't finish the main, will not be racing the next few weeks, so he's out of it. And Moseman moves to second in points. Anstey has a weirdo race. Deegan wins. I feel like we're kind of already to the point where this series is like get your pillows out a little bit. Maybe there's drama to be had afoot, but Deegan has certainly established himself as the best, and a lot of guys that could have dethroned him are now on the back foot.
Yes, 100% agree. I would say that Houston will be telling. Like, if Anstey wins in Houston, then I think you start to be like, okay, there's a chance. But if Deegan wins again, which is obviously most likely scenario, then I believe that, it's done. And ultimately, maybe we all got ahead of ourselves pre-season by thinking it was going to be more of a battle. I don't know. I still stand by the fact that across the 3 rounds, the results certainly don't reflect this. But I do believe that Kitchen may be the best or fastest rider in this class. I really do believe that. But obviously that's almost irrelevant when you look at the scorecard.
Yeah, let's talk about Kitchen to start. 3 first-turn crashes. This one obviously ends with the DNF, which is the biggest detriment of them all. But all these first-turn crashes have been so weird. Now, A1 was, I think, just circumstantial. Bad start going into turn 1, got clipped, down he goes. Like, what are you going to do? But then San Diego, it was his own volition. He had a great start. He maybe could have whole shot that race and just washes the front end all by himself. And then this week, it seems like it was basically his whole shot device never came up, and he didn't realize that. So he went to like kind of roll into the first rhythm and do his normal pumping technique, but the front end was so high, or the forks were still so high that he wasn't reacting to where the tire was on the ground, and he kind of did it and just wiggled and fell down by himself, which is in and of itself a weird crash. And I almost wonder if maybe those guys should like practice going into the first section with their device still up, because it seems like that's happened a little bit more the last few weeks. But overall, like that can't happen. Like 3 weeks in a row to crash in the first corner, like no one should do that. But especially not a guy of his caliber at this championship level. That just can't happen.
Yeah, but I caught some heat for this on Twitter or X because I said, that's just pure bad luck. And a lot of people felt as though it wasn't. And yes, of course, getting a bad start, you put yourself in those positions. So that is the case to a degree. But also, how many starts don't have a first-turn crash of any kind? So despite that, I still believe that this is just pure dumb bad luck. And I do feel for Kitchen in that vein. I mean, I would bet, maybe I'm wrong, but I would bet you would be hard-pressed to find 3 successive main events that had just first-turn crashes generally. You know?
Yeah, I mean, first-turn crashes where it happens more towards the front, rare. I think that usually there's like a little tip over in the back or someone going off the track or something like that we don't always see. But you're right. Like it's not often that we see someone who is either going to whole shot or is in the top 5 going through turn 1 down on the ground. Like it's pretty rare. So
I think first turn crashes are just rarer than that in general. I feel like heat races and LCQ more so. For some reason, my gut feeling is in main events, the first turn crashes aren't as common as maybe you're making out there.
No, you're right. Like, okay, so let's say there's 8 races a night. 3 out of the 8 have some sort of first turn tip over, slide out, crash thing, I would say. I think that's like a fair amount to give it. But the main events are less because it's usually guys that are better in general at racing close quarters and getting through the first turn, and everyone's trying their absolute hardest not to fall. So I think maybe there's a little bit more give and take. But the thing I have about the Levi thing is, okay, A1, bad luck. San Diego, yeah, kind of bad luck. But A2, he crashed all by himself. And yes, the whole shot device is the problem, but like he had no help. He was by himself to the outside. He was past the first turn chaos that was caused by Avery Long going deep and getting into high miss and 5 guys go down. Like that to me is the whole shot device is slightly bad luck, but the rest of it is like, come on, man. Other guys get through turn 1 with their whole shot device still up. Jorge Prado whole shot the heat race at San Diego last week and seat bounced the first triple into the rhythm lane with his whole shot device still down. But Kitchen can't roll into the rhythm section with it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know that I look at that as that bad of luck. That's just like, you got to be better.
No, you've not convinced me. I am still on the bad luck train. I do just believe it's circumstantial, and he has unfortunately been on the bad end of that for every single weekend of this season. It wouldn't be as bad if it was always in the heat race. For it to always occur in the main event as well is just bizarre set of circumstances. That's kind of where I'm at. And it's a shame. I mean, Look, Tom won the championship on the East Coast last year with a 22nd place finish. So it has been done. There's obviously more examples than that. But, okay, there's a shred of possibility here. But for the most part, this title run is done. And for a man who very, 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 very nearly got it in 2024, to now be in 2026 and have another title run essentially deleted before the fourth round, because it was a third round last year. That would have been Daytona, wouldn't it, where he crashed out? Yes.
Yeah.
So for him to again have another title run scuppered before the fourth round, I think that's to his detriment career-wise, and I think it also affects his long-term plan, which I said this on the Vital Pod, but I kind of harped on this in the off-season. I think if I'm Kitchen, I kind of mentally go, okay, time to explore 450 options for 2027 because this isn't working out. Time to move on and dig my heels in there.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. This is a massive bump in the road. He's had a lot of bumps in the road when it comes to getting his career really rolling and feeling like there's any sort of positive steps towards being a consistent race winner. Like, he is a race winner. He is a championship contender, but we haven't seen it turn into like successive title chances or runs in a while. Like, he got close in 24. Last year it ended early. He didn't get his feet really going outdoors. SMX was so. Now we're here and he's already 30 points down or something crazy like that. It's all stacking against him, I feel like, from any towards of positivity to kind of take into a momentum standpoint to get the wheels back on the track. Now, he could just as easily go win Houston because he's that good, but it's not great right now. Like, I think if you're in his headspace, you got to be like, WTF, why is this not going easier or better yet? It should be, but it's not.
I'm of the opinion that Kitchen is one of the more talented 250 riders, has a great future ahead of him in the 450 class, should be an asset to any manufacturer. But the way that now 2025 and 2026 has gone, would that, if you were a team manager, would that play on your mind a little bit, or would you just be blinded by the potential? I think I would be blinded by the potential.
If you asked me before the season, I would still say blinded by the potential, but I don't know. Like, and I'm not looking at these three races and like taking a knock on him necessarily. I think people are looking at him pulling out of the main event and calling him like a quitter. And I don't know that that's fair because he said he felt something weird with his arm and you have no idea. Like, your arm could be really messed up when you feel something weird and there's that much adrenaline spike going on. So for him to pull off, I think is totally okay. But at the end of the day, he's had to come through the field and it's sometimes been look good, sometimes not. Again, you go back to the heat race crash. I don't necessarily look at that as entirely his fault. It was bad luck. Hymas almost did the same thing in front of him. B-Ray did the same thing in front of both of them 2 laps before that because of how sloshy the corner was. So, again, I look at that as bad luck. But it can't always just be bad luck. Like, there has to be a little bit of either mentally not all there or something of the sort that plays into this, which is why I think, to your point about the only looking at the potential side of it now, I think other teams would start to be like, well, there's something else at play than just him not getting it done because of bad luck.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's a black cloud that's following him around, and it would be nice to see that shed at some point. I think it's fair to say the black cloud is quite effective at this point. Almost gives me Ben Townley vibes a little bit.
Bigger black cloud than over Kitchen or Hymas?
Kitchen, because Hymas, I think, his career almost started this way, so it's more of a trend. Whereas Kitchen, and also Kitchen's situations seem to be more just like bizarro, like, why is this happening? I don't know. That maybe reflects too poorly on Hymas. I do stand by more so on Kitchen. I just think that Kitchen's proven that he cannot have this happen, and therefore the current situation seems more dire as a result.
Yeah, I think because of his current status, if you will, in his career, I would agree with you on the black cloud being more on Kitchen because he needs to have the success going. Hymas, I think, will have a little bit of a leash for the next few years of this can happen a couple more times and people will still be like, but we're one step away from this working fantastically. I mean, shoot, like this is just a dislocated shoulder. He's going to be out a few weeks. I know it's not the best thing ever, but I would still say that Hymas right now maybe leans like 1A, 1B type of guy for going into outdoors, like especially now seeing how strong he's been to start Supercross, and this is going to be a bit of a blip in the road, of course, but I think Hymas we can look to outdoors as being straight up one of the best guys on the track, and that's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, but that's tough to say championship-wise just because of, again, the trend with his career. Best on the track at round 1, yes. Best on the track at round 6, I need to be convinced that he's going to make it there. As bad as that sounds, that is the trend, and I don't think we should discount that. Equally, I think if you're in Kitchen's camp and you want to rile him up and, lock him back in, I think that he can relatively easily, or it's easily achievable for him to cut the deficit to to Moserman and Anstey. I think Deegan's the only one where it's impossible, so I think you kind of go with the mindset of maybe something happens to Deegan and then this is still possible. Or you also say, Seattle, everyone expects it to be a mudder. Teams are telling me that they are prepping Seattle bikes for that reason. Maybe Seattle's a mudder. Maybe that opens a door to erase all of the bad luck so far and you don't give up for that reason. There are shreds of hope here for Kitchen, but also he needs to be perfect.
I think if you're Kitchen at this point in time, you just look forward and you go to every single race weekend with the goal or the mindset of I'm going to win this race until you're back in the championship and can say, well, let's play this a little bit safer or fairer or whatever. Like Kitchen just needs to get any semblance of momentum going, and race wins will do that. And like I said, I think he could win Houston. He could win Glendale. He could absolutely win Seattle with how crazy we think it might be. So yeah, maybe he still could get back into this, but I'm kind of out. Like, I don't think that there's a chance at this point in time, at least.
The bigger story from 250's Kellen, and I'm surprised we didn't lead off with this. Tough night for you. It's never good when one of our guys as individuals starts spouting off madness and it reflects poorly on everyone in his camp, of course referring to the Maximus Voland, my pants are causing arm pump. Sounds like one of those headlines you'd get in like a tabloid newspaper, like my cat can see the future or something like that, that these wild people just come up with and try and sell to the press because they want to be famous. I hope that Maximus's pant testing and trial and error this week is going well. I look forward to the results, and I just hope that you are managing to hold up because it's not a good look for you.
No, it's not. It's not great. And I did tell him that I think he's ridiculous for suggesting this, but he's very convicted that the pants are causing the problem. And I can speak to this, that he has had some issues with pants in the past, basically because he's such a tall dude that his knees don't hit the seat the same way that other guys do. Like his knees are above the seat. Like if you're a little shorter, your knees will be touching the seat. So full disclosure, he glues mountain bike tires on the inside seam of his pants so that he can grip the lower part of his leg up against the seat a little bit better.
So this is a problem for Lewis when he rides as well, because I think I'm taller than Maximus. So I'm just now realizing why I never made it.
I know he wanted to. You remember how I think a couple of guys ran winged seats at one point? Like there was a part of the seat that came out from the bike a little bit farther. Like it didn't seamlessly go up from plastics to seat.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, anyway, he wanted to try that a few years ago and was told no. I don't know where we're at with it right now, but that just shows the point of why his legs and specifically maybe his pants are a little bit of a problem area, because it's hard for him to grip the bike because he's that tall. So the only thing I can say that I think I kind of agree with here is if the pants are slightly uncomfortable to him, that's maybe where he's trying to compensate, and that's why he's saying it's causing arm pump. But I don't think that you can't blame pants for arm pump. Like that's my opinion of it. He'll have a different opinion, but that's where I'm at.
A text just appeared while you were talking in the top right of my screen that reads, I heard Volan got in big trouble with JT and Fly for the pants interview. So
Yeah, it's not great, that's for sure. But, we'll move on. And we did get P5. It wasn't all bad. We started second. We were very sick last week, and we got fifth.
I didn't read all of the club PRs. Do we know why they were running black bikes?
I went by and asked a lot of people over there, and they were basically just like, yeah, we wanted to try something different. It goes with our gear.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
It kind of looked like they were
and on top of that,
bandits. Like you couldn't make out any of the logos. I felt like they were going to start popping wheelies along the side of a stadium at some point.
On top of that, Malinowski, who is a club rider, and obviously, thank God he's okay from that crazy crash in Futures or SMX Next as it is now. He was the only one not running the gear that went with the bike. Jessen Turner, who also rides for club, was running the same gear that Max and Yoder were wearing, but I don't know why Malinowski was in like his own offshoot of fly gear. So
yeah, that's a good
I don't
point.
know. We have many questions.
Yeah, I just felt like the all black bikes would have played better if you could still made out the club logo and whatever else, And also, kind of a weird decision because I believe that the club bikes look better than ever this year. I really like the entire blue and white look, so I'm even more disappointed that we've got rid of that so early.
Oh, it'll be back. This
No,
is a
obviously,
one-off.
but
It's not like
let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, fair. Can we go from my max to your max because
to the max.
So sixth in the main event, not a great start. Probably his worst start of the year, but he got pinched and almost went kind of like not down, but definitely like got a little loose going into turn one. And then as he was coming through the field, you said he crashed, but I just saw him stop and pull off to the side of the track for like 5 seconds and then get going again. So what actually happened?
Yes, we all know I'm a terrible journalist, and in proof number 1,262.
Well, did he crash? I don't know.
He didn't crash. So I was putting fake news into the universe. I too saw him like sat on the side of the track, so I presume that was him getting up from a crash. I didn't see him like roll over there. And the story is that rhythm section, which is the one after the sand, he tapped the rear brake on the takeoff of the first triple and essentially did a Hymus where he was shifting in the air to bring the front end back up, but nosedived into the landing of the triple, slammed his chest against the bars and couldn't breathe and was winded, and he pulled it off to the side of the rhythm just because he was like...
Yeah, he was riding like this.
Yeah, for 10 seconds he said he was like, there's no way I can continue, this is fucked. And then it started to get to the point where he could continue. And then in the last 2 or 3 laps, he was to the point where he was normal. And the shred of positivity here is in those last 2 or 3 laps, he was the fastest on track for a lap, second fastest the rest. So that's positive. But you can't ignore the random trend where he's really good at round 1, slightly worse at round 2, and then round 3 seems to be a disaster of sorts. Weird trend going on there.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is exactly, I feel like, what we talked about after A1, where we were trying to figure out, like, okay, how in this is he? He looks great, but when are we going to, like, move past the weirdo moments in his timeline? And, yeah, it was a bike issue in 24. It was an injury in 25, but now we just have weirdo moment that causes a 6th place finish here in 26. So what's the go from here?
Well,
like, we just got to go win now. We're 10 down, but
the difference is, I guess, if you want to cling to one point, the difference is last year, and I can't really remember the year before, but last year, the 3rd round dip was just kind of riding around. At least there's a reason this time. And if rebounding is everything, momentum is key, the Triple Crown in Houston, if he has good starts again, should give him license to get back on track, let's say. I do think that Houston dictates the direction this goes, either good or bad. And with it being a Triple Crown, you'd think it would be good. And if it does go good, who knows? Because I do believe that Houston can be good for him. Triple Crown, great starter. Glendale can be good for him. Big whoops, hard pack, not going to break down. And Seattle could be a mudder, so that could be great for him. So there is a world where this trends in the other direction, but history says that it won't. So time will tell.
Yeah, so I started this whole sequence of topics with the 250 class, basically saying it feels like it's very much Deegs' to lose. Moseman is second in points. He's 9 back, and Max is 10 back. do you look at Max's current situation and knowing him as well as you do and think like, oh, we're one win away from this being a chance for us again, or are you more concerned having seen, like you said, this trend that we might be in the wrong direction?
I'm more the jury is out and Houston is everything. You know, like, who knows? If Houston goes well, then it's back on. If Houston doesn't, then it's off. I think it's that simple, and Houston will tell us everything we need to know.
I think the general sentiment was in the heat race, we expected maybe a little bit of fireworks between him and Deegs, with Deegs having to pass him. And I mean, we got it right on our platter right away. But in the end, Deegs just went right around him. Anthony chose a line that wasn't fast early, at least, and passed him. Do you expect there's still to be any continuation from San Diego, or are we past that?
Well, I spoke to Max about LVK last week, and he agreed that he's going to be in front 10 times out of 10, so that gives him very limited possibilities to play the game.
It wasn't this week.
No, but hey, just want to put that on record. No, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird deal, isn't it? Like, Max is playing politician, Will Hahn is playing politician, Deegan is just being Deegan. So I guess all the while most of the people in the game are being politicians, then nothing's going to happen. And I mean, there isn't really a reason to now, because for the moment, Anstey isn't a threat. Again, that could change after Houston, but for now, I'd imagine it's all okay, although Deegs' comment on the podium at A2 would tell you otherwise.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up this whole 250 discussion with two questions, and we'll start with the guy that finished second place. Moseman led almost 10 minutes of this race. He's as close as he's been since 2022 to looking like he could win again. Does he before this season is done?
A main event?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I think Deegan locks it out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Deegan's going to go on a run here for sure, but Moseman's good, like really good. Like, riding, it looks solid. He looks consistent. I know we're just one cartwheel away from feeling like we're back to where we've been, but he's been kind of a rock through 3 rounds, which is weird. Aside from the heat race crash at A1. But other than that, solid.
Aside from the heat race crash, aside from facing the finish at A1, we really got all of the bad mojo out of the way before the A1 main event. So I guess that's the strategy. I mean, similarly, it works for Chase at A2. He got all of the bad mojo out of the way before the A2 main event. So maybe this is a trend, again, that we need to monitor in the future.
Maybe. Okay, my last question. Is this the best version we have seen of Hayden Deegan in 250 Supercross?
Yes. Without doubt.
By far, or is this just
I don't know if you'd say by far, but without doubt.
Okay.
It's not...
Yeah.
not
I think that...
Contendable? It's not
English?
Contendable?
I would say aside from his starts, this is the most complete version of him in Supercross we've seen.
Yes. Right? And you could argue that the starts are still stopping him from being as dominant and powerful as he should be. So therefore, it's not yet as great as it can be, I guess you could say. I guess you could still make the argument that he's not doing what he should be doing or could be doing because of the starts.
Yeah, because he spends so much of the race catching up, passing, slicing, whatever. He could start and probably win by 15, 20 seconds if he actually whole shot one of these things.
Yeah, without doubt.
Yeah. All right, well, that's our little 250 banter of the podcast. Let me tell you guys about the Partzilla PRMX Rocket team this year. Cade Clayson, Mitchell Harrison, Jack Chambers, of course, out for a little bit, and Anthony Bourdon making the main event and looking a little bit spicier this week than he did in San Diego. But Cade still hasn't made it, Lou. Our buddy is on the struggle bus 3 rounds in.
Hold on.
Wasn't feeling too thrilled about San Diego.
Hold on. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, Bourdon missed the main. That's right.
Yeah, you said he looked spicier than he did in San Diego. In San Diego, he was top 10.
I'm thinking of qualifying because he didn't look very good in qualifying at San Diego, but he looked better this week until he doesn't make the main, of course. Fantastic me. No, so Cade doesn't make the main. What do we got to do?
Well, people need to get hurt. What? No? Is that false?
No, yeah.
No.
I don't know. I feel like Cade thinks he is closer to Harrison than he's been and should be better than like Ryan Brees, who made it in.
Yeah. I guess the ultimate one is Cade should be as good as Max Miller.
Yeah, Max Miller has he's almost gone 2 for 3, just crashed in the LCQ this week. But,
so I guess that is your ultimate litmus test. But Cade has barely been a factor in making the main so far, hasn't he? So clearly there's some help needed there. It's not like he's on the cusp or just short.
Yeah. And then also the PRMX team, little bit of news post race this week. The story that changes no matter who you talk to. Vince Freeze takes out Mitchell Harrison. Harrison allegedly went over to the Vince Freeze rig,
the International Supercross race team, which is a
name.
bizarre
To speak to him, and then there's a story out there that Vince told Mitchell to go in the rig, and then pulled him in, and then there was a scuffle. But then I saw a video that had Mitchell standing outside the ISRT rig and was yelling to somebody about get Vince out here, and I couldn't tell. I don't think it was Bubba Pauly, but it was somebody that's like a mechanic or something associated with the team because he's in a team polo, standing there saying, "I'm not the rider. Quit yelling at me about it." Blah 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 blah. So I don't really know what happened, but either way, Mitchell got license points docked off of him. Vince got 5 championship points and license points docked. The battle for 19th is just the one that keeps on giving, I think.
First of all, who knew? I didn't have Mitchell Harrison as this much of a brawler, you know? I didn't think he had this in him. He's really got some fiery side to him. And second of all, Harrison has still made the main every week. I mean, it was a bit touch and go at A2. But he's really dominating headlines with Kawasaki on Kawasaki crime. First Chase, now Vince. I guess Marchbanks in Houston's going to just tee him up. And then after that, unless Max Miller is in the main event, he'll be fine. Because then we've run through all of the Kawasaki people. Maybe this is where Prado went wrong. In order to unlock Kawasaki's success, you must first defeat the Kawasaki juggernaut that is Mitchell Harrison.
Yeah, which he didn't. He was getting beat by Mitchell.
Well, he did. Well, no, you don't need to beat him. You need to plow him to the ground. Look, you can very much point to the fact that Chase's season turned around after he put Mitchell Harrison down.
Did it, though?
Yeah, San Diego was good.
I mean, he laid into Mitchell Harrison and then about 5 hours later ran into the gate. So
and then had an incredible ride through the field, indicating that he was ready to take the mantle as Kawasaki's number 1 rider.
Yes, well, whichever way the story goes, Mitchell Harrison and Vince Freeze got into some scuffle. I guess it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving because I feel like they're going to find each other again in the coming weeks. Their speed has been somewhat comparable. Vince's starts have been a little bit better. And yeah, so keep an eye on this space. P19 in Houston. Watch it closely. It's going to be a good one. To see what Mitchell and Vince do with each other. Let me tell you guys about Partzilla.com. They're the premier OEM parts dealer and distributor. They sell OEM parts for Honda, Kawasaki, Polaris, Can-Am, Suzuki, Arctic Cat, Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, and Yamaha motorcycles, ATVs, PWCs, and snowmobiles. Visit Partzilla.com to see their extensive line of parts and accessories, and big thanks to them for backing us on the show this year, and of course continuing to back the PRMX race team and all the drama that is afoot over there. I feel like that would be a really cool team to have, you know how they do Drive to Survive and they go to a team each week? PRMX would just be the loose cannon episode of Drive to Survive, but for Supercross.
The Haas? Haas?
The Haas.
Haas. Why did I say Haas? Haas. Why did I do that?
Well, it is in the U.S. I think it's pronounced Haas.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I think so.
Well, then no one knows.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get into my next topic. Well, really, it's an overarching topic about Chase Sexton getting his first win with Kawasaki. A long dry spell broken. Really cool statistics there about the second longest winless streak for Kawasaki. So I will also give you props because if we go back to last week, you were saying Kawasaki's been in a dry spell. They gave Jason Anderson too long of a rope. Well, now if you look at the statistics of it, yeah, it was one of their longest bad spells, if you
Yeah,
will.
1980
without a
to
Supercross
1983
victory.
was the only time there was anything similar to this.
Yep. So
Was that on TV?
Chase gets it done.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know where I saw it.
Okay.
I think I maybe saw it in the SMX stats, though.
Sad, because I worked that
Sad.
out for myself a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't realize other people had that. Sad.
Bummer. But yeah, so Chase gets the job done. Really measured ride, because I feel like you could go back to the start. He made a couple of mistakes. Hunter got by. Even when he passed Hunter back, I don't know if you saw this, but he landed on a tough block coming back across the start and got sketchy, didn't almost crash, but that could have been bad. So then he got his head underneath of him. He passed Anderson, which we know has been a little bit of like are they okay kind of thing, and didn't really take off, but managed the race really well from there. And yeah, your guy gets the job done, Big Lou.
Yeah, it's a weird one with Chase, isn't it? Because in no way is this surprising or unexpected, but then at the same time, you are always lap by lap kind of on the edge of your seat, wondering if it will implode. It didn't, so credit to him. He is a little bit of an Anaheim 2 guy. His first win in his championship winning season was Anaheim 2. On that night, he was also wearing Alpinestars custom gear in honor of a action sports athlete who had passed away. So a lot of similarities here to his championship winning season. Also the fact that Eli won the first 2 rounds that year. Also the fact that Houston was round 4. So it's all very weird. There's definitely a script from 2026 being rolled out. But no, it was...
What you're trying to say is Denver this year, Eli's going to tear his Achilles again?
No, because I can't... No, Kellen. How horrible of you to say that.
You're just building up the narrative that this is 23 reincarnated.
You know what? No, I was going to say, was Glendale round 5? But it wasn't. That was the year we had Glendale was round 12 or whatever, for whatever reason. The Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah.
No, it was like... It's one of those situations where you're like, yep, good job, you did what you should have done, great work. Like, what more is there to really analyse? I guess I just wrote this, so you've caught me at a good time, because I've just unearthed this. So interviewing him after the race, he mentioned that he's still working on turning, and he made a suspension change after qualifying on pole for turning reasons, as well as the whoops. In the second qualifying session, despite qualifying fastest, there was a sector from the very beginning of the mechanics area basically to the beginning of the sand. So essentially it was a turn. In the second qualifying session, he was 14th in that sector despite having the fastest time. 14th! And then in the main event, he was fastest. So I thought that was quite a little interesting thing, because I think the narrative with Chase is he's searching for something that isn't there, but those are kind of cold, hard numbers that indicate that his testing prowess is a little bit more pointed and methodical than maybe he gets credit for. And I think it's rare to have quotes and numbers that line up in such a manner. So I thought that was quite a nice little blend of stats and quotations from Supercross.
That is a nice tidbit. I want to ask, though, whether you believe there's anything to maybe pushing through some of the feelings that you have on the machine. And I know he made the changes, as you mentioned, but like even if he was slightly uncomfortable in the main event, he's like, well, I need to go win this race, so I'm going to ride it a little bit harder. And maybe in qualifying, he's like, I don't need to blow this corner up lap after lap.
No.
Because it's just qualifying, but in the main, he has to go for it.
I mean, yeah, but what goes against that theory is he qualified fastest by almost a second, you know? So, like, he was doing very fast. But
that's because he's so
laps.
good everywhere else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. 14th, kind of, when do you ever see Chase 14th in a sector? And I mean, he was 14th, and in that sector, I mean, it's minuscule, of course, because it's a very small sector. The sector on its own is only 3.5 seconds, but he was 0.2 slower than the fastest person in that little area. The fastest was Prado, who continues to prove that in the unconventional Supercross areas, I guess you'd call them, he really has something special, like the beautiful, the godsend, the highlight that was him jumping on top of the sand roller on the inside, which was just chef's kiss. Oh,
it was very good. If he could have gotten over that and downsided into the rut,
he did. That video I sent you, the second clip he did.
Not all the way. Not all the way. Like, he kind of hits the top and then sits down into. I'm talking like it. Jeffrey's so good about those little hops where he gets into a pocket and then turns like crazy fast. And Prado's also a great sand rider, but I'm just saying, like, if he had figured out how to do that, He may have gone fastest in qualifying. Like,
I think this
insane.
is ridiculous. But is there... Do the Lommel skills, the Lommel skill set, does it translate at all there? Like, is that the reason why? Is it... Maybe it's not even a skill thing. Maybe it's just looking at sand and seeing a different possibility. You know? I don't know. But why? I guess a better question, and I don't know why I didn't ask anyone this, is why did no one else try that?
Well, I think this is why I want to say yes because of that, because no one else tried it, no one else sees it. But on the flip side, it's not like Jet Lawrence has years of Lommel experience. He has some. He's been there. But he doesn't have years like Jorge and all those guys over there do. And I think Jet would have figured that out too. So I think there is a little bit of something to be said about the creative brain side of it, where you can see something slightly different than what everyone else sees and be able to give that, take that and make it something that's faster or better or hopping or whatever. And I think Jorge's good at that stuff. He's always been pretty crafty with his line selections in GPs. And I think he maybe has a similar way that he looks at things on the racetrack to what Jet does.
Yeah.
And is able to find those little crafty things a little bit easier.
I mean, ultimately, it is a very boom or bust line as well. So I'd imagine if you're one of those guys, limited qualifying time, limited time to get a fast lap in, you're not blowing a fast lap by attempting this weirdo sand line that wouldn't translate to the races. So that must loom as well. But it was very nice to watch, and it's always nice to see. We had special comments with Voland with the pants, and we had special stuff on track as well. It's always nice to get those little Easter eggs that you don't get typically.
You're just going to keep going back to that. Since you brought up Chase's qualifying, I want to go back to qualifying with him. He had a crash in the whoops that was, I don't know, a little uncharacteristic for Chase. Like, he's usually pretty stable in the whoops, and he just kind of got the little rut thing in the middle of it wrong and got sideways. But I don't know. Did he say anything post-race to you about what he felt in that or why it went so wrong so quickly?
Yep. Don't remember. The interview was 32 minutes. I can't be expected to remember every single quote. All I do remember is him saying he really thought he was going to save it all the way until his head hit the dirt. Like, he did not believe he was going down. And obviously, fork changes made for the whoops after that crash. And then also he said that he didn't do his interview because his bars were so bent that why would he sit there with bent bars for 2 minutes waiting to do an interview? But he didn't get fined, which is, I think people are on this. He didn't get a license point or fined, but Hayden Deegan did after the Anaheim won main event for skipping a TV interview. So it must be, qualifying just must not be as important. I mean, it's still TV, but it's not, it's more relaxed, I guess. It's not like NBC interview. I don't know. And I guess ultimately the outlook is qualifying, who cares? Like, whereas an interview after a main event is more meaty and this will serve us moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it must just be that because was there an encore presentation yesterday on NBC? I don't think there was this week. I think it was Peacock only this weekend. But either way, maybe that is it, is they just put a little bit extra emphasis on stuff that might end up on TV. Whereas, Peacock is streaming TV, but it's not the end all be all of what they're trying to accomplish from a global sense of the sport. So if you miss something in the night show, I can understand it looking harsher or like it needing to be penalized harsher or whatever. But I get what Chase said. His bars were totally screwed and just get back to the pits. But so also he crashes in qualifying. You're talking about this fork change that he made. Did he make that before the heat?
Yeah.
Or was this after the heat thing too?
The forks were off.
So then, because he said in, I think your interview, and I know he definitely said it in Steve's, that after the heat race crash, he was very much like, come on. Like, why? Like, why did this one happen again? Like, I thought I was past this. I thought I felt better tonight. And then washes the front.
Yeah. Well, I said to him, like, why did it take you so long to get up? Because, so long. There was like a 2-minute window
he face planted
where I was like, are we getting up? And he said he was just laying there mad. Like, he was just like, I'm just taking a second to think about how angry I am right now. So, cool gear though. Rank, in your opinion, qualifying, heat race, main event, rank in order.
I love tribute stuff for sure because it's really cool when there's tie-ins like this. But I'm sorry, the main event gear is last for me. The heat race was the best. Qualifying was the middle. I did not like the main event gear, in my opinion.
I don't know why though. Like
Cool
red and
collab,
white.
but-
Red and white's quite normal.
Yeah, but
the
dude,
heat
honestly-
and the qualifying gear was more abrasive, you know?
The main event gear up close is like okay, but from far away it looked a little like Where's Waldo? You know, like just these big red stripes across his gear, and you're kind of just
Wow.
like, how does that go together
Wow.
in any semblance? Like he wasn't even. If you have the red plate,
Well,
that looks
Ke-
even cooler.
well,
but he
here
doesn't.
we go.
So.
Kellen the Dick. The red gear was actually the exact kind of replica of Andy Iron's signature
I
Billabong.
understand that. I literally just said I love tribute gear.
No, but I mean,
And I'm sorry I have to put it last.
No. I mean, I think the qualifying and the heat race colorways were more like, hey, here are some different colorways. Whereas I guess from what Chase said, the red and white is specifically like Andy Iron's brand.
Yes. Exactly the same way that when he replicated the Ken Block kit in 2023, it was the same thing. It was like an exact replica of the like lightning bolts that he had on his race suit. So yes, cool, get it. But also from a Moto gear alone standpoint, taking the tribute aside, I just don't think it looked that good. My opinion.
I liked it. I really liked how, I mean, this isn't really relevant to the gear, but I liked how on the back of the jersey, the little monster logo was like slanted, overlapping the number, because you never really see that with the
what I
monster
didn't like?
riders.
You know what I didn't like? I did not like lowercase Sexton. That looks stupid to me. Too.
I didn't notice this. Hold on. I'm going on his Instagram. I need to figure this out.
The back of his jersey, it was like Sexton written out above the 4, but all lowercase.
See, I'm an OCD person. I kind of like that. I see the design element.
Why?
I don't know.
Just do all caps. Who cares?
I mean, that must be
Like, why are we trying to make?
associated somehow. But so on the night, my ranking was heat, main, qualifying. But then the more I see photos, I really like the main and I really like the qualifying. So I don't really know what to do with it at all. I like
It's just because it's who it's wrapped around.
no. I liked the heat race gear because you don't really get that sort of color, you know, that reggae sort of color vibe on a gear. So I liked how unique that was. Equally, I guess the purple's kind of rare. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you this though, like it or not, Ken Block, Andy Irons, I feel like the sport does need a little more of this. You know, like a little, like the family was there. You know,
Yeah.
I think we can do a little bit more sort of collabs. So it doesn't have to be people who have passed away. I think we can do more. It doesn't have to always be Alpinestars as well.
Oh well, I mean, to Alpinestars' point, dude, they do a lot of those things with the Lawrence brothers. They do the Gibson collab. They've done a bunch of other like little streetwear brands collabs with the Lawrence brothers as well. Chance Hymas did a Wonder Bread mimic with his fly gear one year. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I agree. Like it'd be fun to see more collabs with that. How about we get Liam Lawson to collab?
More,
You know, maybe like his helmet design, but on gear.
more stories, I guess, because like the Wonder Bread thing, that isn't really a story, is it? I mean, I guess I mean more situations like this where there's actually a story to tell and a reason, so there's some passion behind it, rather than like, you know, even the Gibson guitars thing, I think is a little bit just like, yeah, this is a cool collab. Like I think we can maybe
Well-
look at narratives more.
I don't believe it was a collab, but I loved this tribute that Hunter had to Ayrton Senna at Fox 2 years ago when he had the all yellow gear with the blue stripe and the
Yeah.
green stripe across
I
it.
don't remember the gear, but I
I don't think
remember
that
the
was a collab,
situation. I can't picture the gear though.
Yeah. So that was cool. No, I agree. Like we need to do a little bit more of that stuff. Okay, we've gone in the weeds because part of this topic that we did want to talk about was Chase had some very specific comments that, for the most part, I feel like have been met with a lot of positivity. Like I don't think I've seen many people hit back and say that he's wrong,
Which is
here.
surprising.
Yeah, but the gist of it was basically like he said the words, Feld treats this sport like a circus. And then he also started talking about how like this is a professional sport. We're professional athletes. What other professional sport has to deal with so much fan interaction? And he wasn't talking about like I'm sitting in my chair at the pits signing autographs. Not that. He's talking about when you're going from the rig to the track, sea of fans that you have to get through, and the security guards are down there blowing whistles and trying to get people out of the way, but it doesn't always happen that way. And we used to have like the rider lane, the like celebrity lane thing.
The red
That's
carpet
gone now
sort
for
of
some
thing.
reason. Yeah. And so, but he has a point. Like, it's not very easy for these guys to get from their rig into the stadium without just a lot of fan interaction anymore.
I think
And
you've kind of misconstrued what he said a little bit, because the way you've put it maybe makes it sound harsher. His very specific complaint was after track walk, he was walking back to the rig and there were already so many fans. And why are there already so many fans after track walk?
But that was his specific example. But he also did say, I want to have the ability to like kind of hang around sometimes during the day. Like, I think in his example, what he would like to say is like, I would maybe like to go talk to someone else on another team, for example, or just be able to interact with other people around that isn't always just what's in his motorhome. But he can't really do that because the second he walks out of his motorhome, he's just in the pits. He's just surrounded by fans that are everywhere. And it's a fair assessment because there is no disconnect. If you are racing this sport, you are just constantly surrounded by people for 5 hours during the day. Like, there's no way for him to get away from that.
Yeah, and I guess obviously the hit back would be where you've got a motorhome, but you can understand, like, you don't want to be locked inside all day. Like, if you're a bit antsy and you're that sort of person, like you would, and you're trying to like mentally prepare, I think you could drive yourself a little bit insane. Like, for instance, I'm a pacer, so I would want to pace, and I wouldn't be able to. But I don't know, it's just unique again. Like, I had this conversation with Feld PR, Sean Brennan, in San Diego. Not for anything specifically, but we were just talking about the ever-present debate about interviews in the pits versus press conference versus scrum, and how like other sports don't have this. And I remember saying to him, like, well, ultimately the pits are the downfall here, because any other sporting event, you're sat in the press box and you have nowhere else to go. The event is the stadium and that's it. So where are you going to go after the race? To the press conference, because you have no other ability. To have license to wander the pits and just kind of hang out there isn't common for any sport, as far as I know. I'm sure there are a couple of examples out there. And also this, and I said this to Chase in the interview, this goes beyond, this isn't a Feld thing, this isn't a MX Sports thing or anything like that. It's just a motocross thing. You know, there's no motocross event that does it differently. It's just an element that's come with our sport. And I think maybe this is magnified by the fact that we have sold out 3 stadiums in a row. It has been hella busy in the pits, crazy busy. So that's maybe magnified it more so. But maybe the sport is growing to a point where it needs to be reevaluated, you know? Like, maybe we are growing where there's an extra 3,000 people in the pits and maybe they're there a bit earlier, you know? I don't really know what the solution is, because I think ultimately the Fan Fest is our selling point to sponsors and whatever else, both team-wise and series-wise. And the activation there, Kawasaki, Monster, Lawrence VIP, there's so much going on that it's clearly valuable. So you can't get rid of that. But maybe you just have, I don't know, like in MotoGP, I've seen in the Lawrence's vlog from Austin, and I guess it's a flyaway for them, but it's different. But the riders have like little cabins, you know, where that's their private space. But then again, that's no different to a motorhome. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you mentioned, I'll go back to the first thing you mentioned, which is talking to Sean about like the disconnect between there's, you know, other sports have, this is the stadium, this is the only thing that there is. But I will hit back to say that definitely NASCAR is not like that. NASCAR, there's a media center, there is driver row that all the media can go talk to the drivers after the race along where they have their cars pit in, basically. But that is separate from where the fan zone is. So the fans can't just walk around the driver rigs and hang out. So that's, you know, a little bit of a different disconnect. But then you talk about F1 and MotoGP, and they very specifically have, you have pit lane, which then faces out towards the grandstands. But behind pit lane, there's usually a corridor, like a walking corridor, and then all the team rigs. And all the team rigs and all that corridor and the pit lane itself is mostly blocked off to fans. Now, there's VIPs that can get back there. Yeah,
it's busy.
But, right. But to Chase's point, like, if they had even that set up where your rigs are all pretty much right next to each other, and like maybe he could walk behind the rigs to go wherever he wants to go or whatever, I think that would maybe be a better solution than what we have right now, which is, well, like Cowie, for example, they're all the way out underneath the A at Angel Stadium. And so he's pretty far away from where he needs to get to in the first place, and there's no way for him to go behind anything. He has to go through the middle of the crowd to get to the bike lane to get into the stadium. And so I wonder if like almost they could look into the future of having it be sort of like you have your row where all the rigs are, and the fans can walk in the middle of this row, but behind that on either side are ways for riders to get around it all.
Yep, but then welcome back to how our sport, the history and the tradition of our sport kind of shoots us in the foot with this evolution, because that would be way easier if, like in F1, like in MotoGP, you had 10 teams and that was the teams. We have so many big rigs and small rigs and privateers and top riders and satellite riders and everything in between, but I don't know if you can get that cute with it. Unless you start to really segregate the paddock and like, hey, the pros are over here and the privateers are all the way over here, and it's kind of not even a different, it's almost like a different pit setup. I don't know. It is just, I think, again, it's just a fabric of this sport that perhaps it does need to be looked at and perhaps it could be better, but it's bound by tradition and it's ultimately one of our greatest assets. So whilst you could always tweak it, I just don't know if tradition will allow that.
Well, like you said, it is one of our greatest assets. It is one of those things that I often hear, more casual fans or just, people from an activation standpoint, especially sponsors and stuff, say, man, you don't go to any other sport and get this kind of up-close personal relationship with the riders, with the teams, with the bikes, with being able to see everything. Like you can't in F1 or even MotoGP go really anywhere near the bikes or the cars to see them up close. But in Supercross, like you can stand 10, sometimes even 5 feet away from factory bikes and look at them and get pretty close to them and see all the little nuanced things that they're doing. You can watch mechanics take apart. You can watch mechanics pull the clutch off the side of the casing, change the clutch and look at all the internals and then put it back on. You can just stand there and watch them do that, and we don't get that in really many other motorsports. So that is definitely the USP that Supercross has. Is it time for a change? Maybe not drastically, but I think to get a little bit more privacy for the riders is not a ridiculous ask.
Yeah, and I felt like eventually the way that Chase landed the plane and kind of spoke about it was articulate, intelligent, and quite thought-provoking and good fodder for podcasts like this.
Yep. Anything else from the Chase interview we want to go over?
No.
Okay. Well, let me tell you guys about Alpinestars, the Tech Air MX. Of course, it uses a sophisticated activation algorithm designed specifically for ruts, berms, jumps, whoops, deploying instantly when it matters most. Of course, we saw the data from Justin Barsh's crash. Absolutely insane. And if you are not convinced yet of how well this device works, that maybe should do it for you. But either way, definitely check it out, Alpinestars MX and the Tech Air MX and what they provide for everyone looking for a bit of a safer option for chest protection in 2026. So thanks so much to them for backing the show. I did want to go over one quick topic before we get into our banter. I know we're almost an hour in, Lou. But you and I both had a very similar opinion to Hunter Lawrence before the season started. Kind of a, yes, he can be good, but we need to see it to believe it. He needs to battle for wins. He needs to consistently be here when he hasn't been in the past in Supercross. So 3 rounds in, second in points, 4.22, arguably could have won the second and third round just on raw pace alone. Are you there yet?
Well, Kellen, that's a great question. And to make this podcast incredibly raw, let me tell you that I need to, for some reason, my laptop charger isn't working. So how about you speak about that for 60 seconds or so whilst I just fix this little mishap, and then I'll be back in 60 seconds with my opinion, which, of course, will keep everyone on the edge of their seats and be very engaging.
All right.
Bye.
Well, my opinion of this basically is, I really, before the season, I thought he needed to win a race for me to be like, we're in. We needed to see raw pace for 20 minutes plus a lap that got him on the top step of the podium, finally got the monkey off his back, which it took him a long time to do in outdoors. And eventually it started to, I feel like, flow a little bit better once he finally did win an overall, or at least when he started winning motos, it came a bit more easy. He still hasn't done that in Supercross. He still is not a 450 race winner, but I feel like he is so close to that level and so close to having gotten the job done that I'm already there. Like, I am already to the point where I fully expect him to go on a championship run or be a part of this championship picture for the foreseeable, future until something dramatic happens that would change it, because I think he's that consistent. His starts are solid. His raw pace seems to be there, and he's a good enough balanced rider that I think he's going to be good on all surfaces from here on out. But what say you, Big Lou?
Yes, that all makes a lot of sense, of course. But let me ask you this. Picture Salt Lake City, and you hear Weege or Lee Diffie scream, "Hunter Lawrence is your 2026 Monster Energy AMA Supercross champion." I can't picture it yet. So I think that means that subconsciously or deep down inside or wherever else, I'm not quite there. But that's not to discredit what he's done. 2 second places in a row. He hasn't got the trophies. He hasn't got the prize money. But I do think these are as good as wins for both his psyche, his outlook, and all of this good stuff. He's certainly made 2 massive statements on consecutive weekends. And perhaps San Diego, I was like, yeah, that's really good. But also it's 1 week, so who cares? Anaheim 2 and backing it up in arguably a more difficult set of circumstances, because San Diego, Webb and Chase were kind of out of the picture, whereas this time all the players were around him. And also his first time having consecutive podiums in the 450 class. I think it's definitely encouraging. I think a win's coming sooner rather than later. But do I believe he can straight up beat Eli or Chase out for this title? I'm not there yet. But maybe, I'm not here, but maybe now you want to have a conversation where my pecking order for the title is Eli, Chase, and then Hunter. So he's moved up the rankings, but perhaps not fully locked in yet.
Well, my question wasn't necessarily, do you think he can win this title outright? Because I don't know that I'm still there. I agree with you. I still put certainly Chase, certainly Eli above him just in terms of what they'll be able to bring to the table for 17. But are you at least there that, like, it's going to take something kind of, not catastrophic, but like a pretty big thing to go wrong for us to be halfway and him not be in this?
Yes, I don't foresee a race where it's like, oh, Hunter's just a 7th place guy. Or even maybe just a 5th place guy on occasion. I could see that, because of course it's not hard to imagine that Eli, Chase, Kenny and Coop can be better on one night. But certainly more in the mix with that top 5 than maybe I, for one, predicted preseason.
Can I at least give this to you? Other than, I guess, maybe Eli, well, him and Eli are probably about the same on this. I don't think Hunter's passed many people in the main event this year. Like, he ran 4th forever at A1 and eventually ran 5th and eventually got Anderson. But, like, it's not like he's slicing through the field and passing a lot of guys. Well, obviously, because he's starting up front, that changes the narrative a little bit. But, like, do you think if he starts 7th, he can still get to 3rd? Or is he, like, he starts 7th and it's going to take him too long to get to that point kind of thing?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see that. But you have just pointed out arguably his greatest strength, and same for Eli. Eli and Hunter, as it stands right now, are without doubt the best starters in the 450SX class. And that perhaps means that Hunter's first win is coming in Houston, because with it being a Triple Crown, that advantage will be magnified. I'm still concerned by Chase's starts, because although he came out 1st or 2nd at Anaheim 2, his actual position mid-first turn was terrible. He cut around the inside, so strategically it was brilliant. But otherwise it wasn't a great start still. Coop hasn't had a good start yet. Eli and Hunter have been near perfect in comparison out of the gate. So I think that's arguably his greatest strength. And can he push forward similar to Chase in San Diego? Maybe not, but maybe he'll never have to, because he's a good starter.
If he doesn't have a win by halfway, what's your level of surprise?
I'm not surprised, but I am a little bit like, oh, okay. I'm not surprised, though, because ultimately he's gone 21 450 races without a win. But equally, I won't be surprised if he does get one.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, like, this weekend could be great for him. Great starter, Triple Crown, maybe a little bit tackier dirt. Like, he seems like he's done better. Like, San Diego was still slick, but A1 seems to be universally everyone was like, oh my gosh, that was unbelievably slick. The topsoil was so loose. San Diego a little bit better. A2, the tackiest dirt we've had, and he seems to have been a little bit better in those conditions. So, yeah, I think if he doesn't win by like Daytona, I would be like, wow, that trend didn't really go the way we thought it would.
No, but then what if?
But I think he wins.
What if he hasn't won by Daytona, but he has 7 podiums? Then you're like, cool, this trend is really good.
Yeah, but then I'm also kind of like, well, he's been giving up a lot of points too, because if he's getting on the box, but if it's third and Chase is gaining 5 or Eli's gaining 5 on him, then you're just kind of like, man, those you can probably beat those guys.
Yeah, but that's honestly where I'm just not at a point of counting points with Hunter yet, truth be told.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, I mean, consistent podiums is going to keep him in it, and he is that type of guy to be that solid and always there and in it and stuff like that. So I said this, in my little review show I did yesterday, but like, I love that this adds an element. I did.
Where?
I love that this adds an element to the 450
Lewis,
class.
I guess.
SYS, bro.
You literally told me many a time this year, I don't want SYS to be motocross or like real life motocross.
There's one thing that I'm putting there, bro.
Oh, I guess you did. I guess you overlaid the audio on top of gaming footage. Okay,
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Anyway, Hunter being in this title fight adds an element to the 450 class that we like haven't seen. Like, we know what Eli's going to be like for 17 rounds. We know what Chase is going to be like. We know what Webb's going to be like, and we know what Kenny's going to be like. But Hunter being in this adds like, well, how consistent is he going to be? Does he go on a streaky run and start winning a bunch of races? Like, we kind of have that unknown element to him that makes it exciting to see where it will go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, it's a breath of fresh air, of course.
Yeah.
Although you could argue the name Lawrence isn't quite the breath of fresh air that it could be. Be much better if it was Connor.
But Jet Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence are drastically different when it comes to how they build championship success, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
Jet gets there by winning 12 races and finishing 4th in the other ones, and he wins a title. Hunter gets there, it seems like, to battle for a championship by just keep knocking on the door. Just be right there, wait for your opportunities, get the wins when they come, and you're there at the end. And I think that's fun. Like, I think that you can have a guy like that in this series who's this good, who's that solid, and it puts so much more pressure on Chase and Eli and those guys to hit. Like, it's almost, I don't want to make this comparison, but it's almost like how Reed was always there behind Stu and Carmichael.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
like,
very relevant.
He couldn't make a mistake, you know? Yeah, so I'm excited to see what Hunter does, but that was my little tidbit that I just wanted to go over about, if our opinion has changed or not. And now we have reached our LVK post-show banter a little bit. So what do we want to hit on first? Do we want to talk?
Turn it off if you are emotional and you're no fun and I just want to hear about the motocross race. Well, you are going to hear about the motocross race, but not I want to hear about the lap chart. This isn't for you anymore. So goodbye. Thanks for listening. And I even have a non-moto this week. Well, not a non-moto, just a little funny story, right? So I've mentioned before the battle that is the rental car bus and how, you've got to position yourself near the door because otherwise that's 20 people in line ahead of you. So
Yep.
Aggressively, I had to do this weekend because I got on a little early, but still took the seat by the door, which someone complained about. So then, being the great guy, you can have this seat. I don't need it. I'll stand. Meaning, I'll stand closer to the door. I actually couldn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
So I'm stood with my arm on the railing by the door, right? This woman, honestly, when you just you don't even talk to someone, but that you just you grate on me. You're not it. Like, the rental car bus guy, it's a packed bus. There's one seat free. There's people stood in the aisle, if you want to call it that. And the guy goes, "Is there any room?" Because he was going to stop at the next terminal. And everyone went, "No." And this woman goes, "There's one seat here." And I just looked at her and I just went, are you a fucking idiot? Look, how is a person going to get to that one seat? You want us all to get off to make room for this? There's clearly no room.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my arm is against the barrier. We stop. Lewis is ready. She goes under my arm to get out before me. And she goes, excuse me. And I went, yeah, just go under my arm. That makes sense. And then she gave me evils. So at this point, I'm fired up. The gate has dropped, and she's basically done the J-Law knocking on the doghouse, because I'm like, there's no way you're getting in line in front of me. So we get to the LAX rental car center, which is a new building I was not experienced with. I've never been to this building for some reason. She gets in the elevator, and I go to get in the elevator, look at the stairs, and go, it can't be that tall, this building. I'm running up the stairs to beat everyone in this elevator. Sidebar, I trained legs that day. So the leg muscles were starting to cramp a little bit. But nonetheless, I start running up the stairs thinking it will be 2 flights. It's 8 flights of stairs. And by the 6, 7, 8 one, my legs are giving out and I'm still doubling my way up the stairs. Like, gotta beat them, gotta beat them, gotta beat them. I beat her by like 0.1 second. And she stared at me the entire time she was in line. She just gave me evils. And I felt like it was a real valuable moment, a win for me. So there's that. But yeah, why go under my arm? Who does that?
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, who does that? Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
She left her family. She was
like
clearly on the same program. She left her family behind. So she knew as well. She was in the race.
I had like an oddly similar scenario because, so as I mentioned at the start of this, I went to the race with my family, and so I was a fan for the first time in a long time. And we needed to get our kids home for bed, so I didn't wait out the traffic. I just tried to get out of the stadium after Anaheim in the traffic. And so there was like, I was in a line that was coming into a line that then went into the main sequence of road leaving, right? There's these 2 cars in front of me that were getting into the sequence in front of like the main sequence. And like this Tesla was trying to go around the car in front of it. So there's 2 cars that went together. So I was waiting my turn for both of them to go, and then I was going to go behind them because you're supposed to zipper merge, you know, like, okay, I let these 2 idiots go. Only one of them should have went, but I let 2 go. Well, the car behind those guys was like, it's my turn now. So he gets right up behind that next car, and I'm trying to ease in to get in front of him. Well, I found a way to have just enough room to be beside this guy, and he's, again, like you with this lady giving you evil eyes, he's doing the same thing. He's looking at me like this, like just staring out the window, looking at me, and I'm focused ahead because I have a different plan. So he's trying to get into this one lane where everyone is merging into this one lane. And I'm side by side with him, and this truck goes, and he's trying to jump in behind this truck with me. And I'm like, well, I'm going to take advantage of you trying to focus so much on this guy that I jumped around the outside of the truck and got into the next lane, which is going way faster. So this guy was trying so hard to beat me out of the parking lot that he just got stuck behind the truck that we would both been behind anyway. And I got into the fast lane and was out of the parking lot in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, these people don't think...
like, this is your fault, idiot.
They think right in front of their nose. They're not taking stock of the entire landscape. Like, this woman should have gone up the stairs if she'd thought about it a little more. She was young enough. She wasn't... It's not like a 60-year-old woman. Yeah, these people aren't thinking... So you stayed for the checkered flag. You weren't one of those people who left, like, 2 laps from the end.
Nope, I was there the whole time. We got up like as soon as the checkered flag waved, but yeah, we were there.
Did you actually buy a ticket, or did you just use your credential?
No, I bought a ticket.
Well, I guess you could have just used your credential, although it was sold out. So I guess it would have been tough to get a seat.
Sold out. Yeah, I needed a seat. Yeah, so and we brought both kids. We weren't planning to bring both of them. I bought a ticket for my daughter, but you can bring under 2, which my son is, and they can just be a lap seat basically. But we weren't going to bring him, and then my mom, who was going to watch him, got sick. So then we brought both, and we squeezed into our 3 seats together. So, is this where I can talk about fighting, or do you want to go to a different topic?
No, you can talk about fighting.
Okay. Honestly, people of Supercross, what are we doing? We are 3 rounds into this season, and there is way too much fighting going on in the stands, and way too much excitement about it too. And this is probably me being what people would probably consider a pussy. Go for it. You can call me that. I don't care. But this is also supposed to be like a fun leisure time event to go to and watch. It used to be a family sport. You could go with the family and watch. But I'm up there with my kids. We're all hanging out. And then we're above like where the home plate turn is.
I don't know what that means.
Before the whoops.
Okay.
Before the whoops. a fight breaks out in right field, which I know you guys know about because Steve tweeted about it.
Yeah, I videoed it.
And right field, right field is above the mechanics, like the start, right above the start. For those that are curious about stadium dynamics, a fight breaks out, like these women are going at it, then guys get into it, and a bunch of people are into it, and everyone around us on the other side of the stadium is standing up, cheering and hollering and shouting, and I'm like, we're not even close to this. Like, I can understand if you're in the section to be like, what's going on over there? I got to see what's going on. But everyone around me is like stoked on this fight happening 400 feet away from them. And I'm like, idiots. Like, why are we coming to an event to throw hands? Because look, this isn't the only fight that's happened. We had a massive fight in the stands in A1 that got videoed and everyone was talking about it. We had a guy in the pits at A1 who tried to fight a horse, and then people tackled him and he got arrested. And then San Diego, there was one of the biggest brawls I've ever seen. Again, also got videoed in the pits after the race, like 50 people throwing hands. And it's like, WTF are we doing, people? Just go watch the race. I get it. You drink, you guys start talking smack, whatever. But why are we throwing hands and everyone getting excited about it? If you want to go watch a fight, go to UFC.
Did you notice, I don't know if this would have been caught on TV, but actually it must have been because it was on the big screen. At the start of Ryder D's interview with JT after the 250 main, that was when the fight started. And Ryder D is watching it as JT starts his question and so preoccupied by the fight. I thought that was quite funny. But I zoomed in on this fight to see the dynamics. I have no idea what the relationships were in there because, like, there's this one girl that's just punching everyone, and she's punching everyone around her. So I'm like, certain that at
like
one
even the
point,
people that are like trying to help her break up.
I think at one point she started fighting, presumably her boyfriend, which is wild. Because she the guy behind, she was fighting the woman. Let's say she was fighting the person to her left, and then the guy to her right, which must have been the guy she went with, like pulled her back. So she turned around and just started punching him in the face. And I was like, Jesus, it's aggressive.
Like, the demographic of Supercross has always been, you know, I guess in California, let's just call it the bro demographic, which is whatever. Every demographic's a little bit different. I just feel like now going back and being a fan and being a part of the audience that's, you know, going to these races, it felt even more broed out than usual. Like, everybody's just flat bill hats and high black socks and ready to fight. And I'm like, why? Just watch the damn race. Like, I don't get it.
I have to admit, in God's world, I can't lie, he's watching. So is Santa. I started videoing this fight and zoomed in because I was so hoping that you were sat right in it. I literally, the first thing I said to Steve was, oh my God, Kellen might be there. And I was so hoping that I was going to zoom in and just see you like sat next to it, like, but you weren't. So pointless fight in my book. If you were in it, I would have backed it 100%. Next question. Did you wouldn't have watched my press day interviews?
No.
Okay, so 4-minute interview with Hunter, and there is not a second of seriousness. Not because of me on this occasion.
Okay, I did see this.
Okay.
I did watch this.
So 4 minutes of just funny jokes, and everyone loved it. Really good reaction.
Yep.
But I'm concerned on behalf of Lewis.co, that Lewis Incorporated, that now Chase interviews, now Hunter, like, hey guys, or hey world, like, I can do journalism as well.
No, you are Ziggo.
No one knows what that means.
F1, Ziggo Sport.
Oh.
You're that guy, the Dutch dude with the orange microphone that always asks like the most off
Yeah, but I didn't ask Hunter.
Weird questions.
I had zero. If you liked the Hunter interview, it was 0% because of me. I didn't even ask a funny question.
Yeah, you asked something about like bike setup, and he just goes off
Well,
on, we're using left-hand wrenches now.
He built on press day interview in San Diego. I asked him about the bike, and he said he obviously didn't want to answer it. So he said something about a combobulator. And he obviously, surprisingly, remembered this because I was in line for Hunter, got to the front, and he went, I told you, the combobulator. And I was like, oh no, we're on. Like, this is not going to be an interview. And even funnier is at the 4-minute mark, the HRC PR girl like comes in, taps me on the shoulder, and is like, you're done. And I'm like, but am I? I don't know. I don't really know that I got what I came for. But I don't know if it's good. Like the Chase interviews are their own brand at this point. Like they're not interviews. It's basically LVK. It's Saturdays with Seawers. It's his own brand. Yes, they're posted as post-race interviews. Honestly, if it was my control, they wouldn't be. They would be posted separately under a different name and branded differently, just to send the message that this isn't an interview. But now the Hunter interview, and I'm worried that people are going to start being like, this Lewis guy's a fucking joke.
I don't think that will happen. The only difference is I think you still are getting maybe too much of a heavy dose that you are a Sexton Glazer, and that is where people are going to start giving you loss of credibility because you cannot be unbiased. Yeah, but I think I think that section of the community is just people who can't take a joke. Like, like there was, now realizing now in playback it sounds fucking horrific, but Chase was complaining about pain in his leg during the interview, and I said, do you want a massage? Like, I was obviously taking the piss, I was the only one who got an interview with Webb, so like I think I'm quite fine, to be honest. I think, didn't you in your Web interview say like, wow, this is something us talking?
No. I asked him to build. Okay, maybe this is the same thing as Hunter and Chase. After the Pulp episode where I don't think but his vlogger and people were kind of butthurt about my vlog rant. So now every interview I do with Coop, I end it by asking how the vlog is. But which in my mind is like, that will loosen him up. We'll get a little bit of personality at the end. But maybe that's bad as well. But anyway, I said...
No, people want that, dude.
I said, the way that played out is I said to him, how's the vlog, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm genuinely surprised you're speaking to the guy. And he went, well, I'm here talking to you. And I went, yeah, I'm surprised at that as well, because he didn't get on the podium.
Yep.
Although, weirdly, all of 17 rounds of Supercross last year, I got a post-race interview with Coop once. And it was at A2 after his worst race of the season. Yep. So I don't know if Coop just has me circled for A2 exclusively or what, but it's a weird coincidence.
I think it's because if Coop is not on the box a few weeks in a row, I think he knows he has to do media a little bit. No, like he's like, okay,
so
people want answers.
So I walked by him and like gave him the look, and he went, yeah, we'll talk. And he went, go and stand behind a truck though. I only want to do your interview. So like,
well, okay, yes, but I'm saying like, I think he understands that at some point he's going to have to like face the music, if you will. Other guys never will. Like, I think if Anderson's having a bad season, we'll never talk to him, kind of thing, unless it's press day. But I think Webb is okay. Like, he's good enough at knowing I'm not on the box again. I probably need to do something. And so he knows you. He likes you. He trusts your questions. He'll do an interview with you, right? But I think that when he's on the box every week, he's not like, he looks at that and he goes, I did my part. I said my piece about what's going on in my life, kind of thing. So that's why I look at Coop and I'm like, he's good about that, you know?
It is surprising, though, how people, like, I spent Christmas with Max Anstey for the second year in a row, and there's not a single Lewis is a Max Anstey glazer out there, which is bizarre. Well, I think there's starting to be now.
There's some of that.
Yeah.
Especially with the
stuff. Yeah, it's never, honestly, I track my mentions and stuff. There isn't. Like, yes, there's, after San Diego, there was like, you're talking shit on Deegan, because I said it was unnecessary, but there's not.
Well, but there was a handful of tweets that I was even tagged in, I think, one or two of them, where they said, like, can't wait to hear Lou's thoughts on this after Deegan took Max out. Like, I'm sure he'll be really unbiased.
Less so than the Chase stuff. But as I said to Chase in my interview, and I genuinely meant it, the Chase interviews are at a point now where I could not do any other work and just do the Chase interviews and my career would be fine. Like, they're powerful enough now where they stand on their own 2 feet enough to give notoriety. And I know, like, it's not for everyone, of course. You can imagine the 60-year-old man watching it and thinking it's the fucking weirdest thing ever. But I stand by the fact that it's so fucking awesome to get the winner in this occasion talking like so relaxed and just funny and then serious and then insightful, and like it's such a fucking asset to this sport. And if I'm Chase's sponsors, I'm texting him and saying, do more of that. I genuinely believe Like, I genuinely believe it's an asset to all involved. So,
Well, it is for sure. I think, unfortunately for you, the problem is the quote that will come this week from Chase Sexton that will be pulled, that will be heard, is
yeah,
Feld
but I
runs this
spoke
show like a
to.
circus.
I've already
Everybody's
done.
going to
No,
use
because
that.
I've done. Well, hopefully they don't, because I hope, again, they know it wasn't an interview per se. It was fun times, casual times. But I've spoken to like a few people, like ran that by a few people, you know, like, oh, is that like, and they were like, yeah, it's fine, because it steered itself.
Well, it's fine for
No,
you.
it steered itself into an intelligent conversation.
He still might get the ire of it. Okay, but as you and I both know, dude, the media and this current age of media really doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter how intelligent what he said after that
He's
is.
getting clipped.
The poll quote is too juicy for people not. Yeah, like it's just going to happen. So, unfortunately, it doesn't matter what he says. That quote in and of itself is going to probably get a little bit of backlash.
Yeah, but I mean, I would tell you after the text that I just got from Chase, and you can probably deduce how fucking coincidental for what he's just texted me. You can probably deduce, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That is fucking spooky. That's actually spun. Honestly,
is he listening?
Well,
Does he have your
and then the
apartment
Voland
bugged?
thing. Like, I genuinely got that text while we were talking about Voland. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to deal with that shortly. Scrap everything I just said. It's all irrelevant. Yeah, probably a problem.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Dude.
Yeah, the Voland thing is like the Chase thing is spooky in itself. The Voland thing's fucking bizarre. Like both of those things at the same time. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Biggest news in the industry. Tentatively, a provisional date is locked in for Lewis to return to riding.
It is.
And unfortunately, I'll be straight up here. The whole job swap situation, I'm shitting myself. And
no, stop.
if it was as casual as it started, maybe Lewis pulls out. Cards on the table. It has become such a beast, Lewis doesn't have a say anymore. I haven't even told you the amount. Let's just say that all relevant partners have bought in. And there's now a production planned where I need to go to Kawasaki HQ because there's now going to be a prequel to the job swap. So again, I kind of am up shit creek without a paddle at this point because I don't really have a say because it's gone too far. So I don't know, man. Help me, man.
Well, I can. This whole scenario, to be honest, it sounds a little bit like. Do you remember when I got to ride at Indy last year? Ride at Indy. That whole thing started with like, "Hey man, do you want to ride the track?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." And then it started, and then it morphed into, "Oh, we're having a race. Like we're having a content creators race of some kind." I was like, oh, so it's like a little bit more serious. And they're like, well, you're going to be on the track and it's going to be all of you guys together. And I'm like, okay. And then Alpinestars got involved and they're like, we'll make you gear and we'll make this big thing. And now knowing what it ended up being, if I could go back and not take it that seriously, I wish I could have. But I think you're falling into a little bit of that vortex where it's like, this wasn't meant to be that big of a deal. And
let's
now
also say that
it's
one of the
big.
relevant parties contacted me, not Chase, the new parties that have bought in, contacted me on Monday and said, we realize this is starting to be a bit of pressure. Don't take it too seriously. That's where we're at. We're concerned.
Okay. Yep.
But I'll say this, like, I'm a big, like, I've said it before. Part of the reason I don't ride is I don't see the point. Like, again, I've not ridden in so long. It's going to be hard. There's going to be arm pumps. So why, like, I'm not I've said before, I'm not racing now locally. So what's my end goal or my end reason? So this has given me to kick up the arse to I now have an end reason to go riding. And now that I'm past the commitment barrier, I'm fucking excited. Like, genuinely, I'm excited because there's a reason for me to be like, okay, this is worth my time. And as I've said before, I don't really do stuff for fun. I have to I don't know why, I don't know the way I'm wired. And equally, it's a problem with Job Swap because I won't be able to see the fun in it and it will get a bit emotional. But I don't know. Exciting though. And I tell you what, if everyone comes through on the early promises, the photo I post on Instagram of me sat on the bike will overreach its coverage, because let's just say I will look fucking unbelievable. And not on the bike, not once I've started riding, full disclosure, but sat on the bike, you know, the standard hand over the exhaust pose, you will not believe it's me if everyone comes through. We're down to the nitty-gritty of fonts, numbers. We're in the fucking finer details of all the... Which none of that was... I never thought any of that would become a part of it.
Well, two things of this. One is I love that you're so excited with all this. You're holding a toy car.
You know how I like to pace
you're already
as well. Ready to go. This came out of a Kinder Egg 6 months ago. And this little guy sits here, and while I'm doing a podcast, I just go back and forth. Okay. Or I sit with it in my hand and flick it around.
As we already talked about at the beginning of this podcast with Volan's pants,
shitting mine.
You are a large figure.
What the fuck do you mean I'm a large figure?
I can.
Hold the. Okay, large figure indicates the other way. Okay.
No. Okay. I cannot wait until you get on that bike. You do about 2 laps in front of Chase and come back in. And Jeff Urban's going to be there with his camera. And you're going to be like, well, how is that? And Chase is going to go, man, we look like Ken DeDiker out there.
Also, it's funny as well, because this is just fucking pro riders. So obviously I'm really good friends with Ben. We know this. So I was texting him earlier and in my group chat with Tom Neal as well. And we were talking about the first practice day, which has tentatively been set for Glen Helen. And I said, Glen Helen in 2 weeks or whatever, like practice day 1. Actually, there's another element to this as well after this. And then the conversation, I'm like, yeah, apparently there's a good vets track, and like that's where I need to start. Like, because I'm genuinely concerned, like the muscle memory of just like clutch and gear. You know, like I'm wondering if it will come back so naturally that I'll just like be immediately like shift down. You know, like or if I'll have lost the muscle memory. I'm genuinely a bit like weirded out by that. And Ben's like, why would you ride a vets track? You just need to get on Glen Helen. That's gay. And I'm like, mate. No,
you do need to just get on Glen Helen.
Like, but we're 10 years of no riding. You want me to do 2 corners of warm up and then fucking start climbing Glen Helen's hills? Like, we're not ready for that. Like, I don't know if. Like, well, it looks.
It's
scary.
not hard.
But okay, well now you've contradicted the joke. But the funniness of it was like pro riders not understanding. Like, you don't get it. Equally, on the other end of the spectrum,
he does not understand.
Max Anstey is scared for my life. He pulled Chase aside at the rig riot and gave him terms and conditions. Like, look after him.
Please sign this.
He was
for
like,
my
you've
friend.
got to knock down the jump faces. Like, you can't have him hit the jump faces. Like, you can't. Because apparently, Lewis doesn't know this.
It's all tables,
Lewis doesn't
isn't it?
know this. Max says that the way the jumps are built at these compounds are basically like photo shoot jumps. And he said, I will never have hit a jump face so steep and it will fucking confuse the hell out of me because the way the bike reacts and everything it will be like nothing I've ever experienced because I won't have experienced it. So he went, I told Chase he needs to knock the jump faces down so you can at least do the jumps. And I went, mate, we're not doing the jumps no matter the prep. Like, please knock. And he went, no, I just need to get over them. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we're at that point?
No, you can get on top of those things, no problem. They are steep, but you'll be fine.
But yeah, funny. Funny. Yeah, funny. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, what's the you said earlier to me that you're quite excited to ride again, but as this continues to build and snowball and all that, like
I'm excited to ride
nerves,
again with you.
Excitement? Where are we at?
No pressure. I think it will be very like Chase said, like, because obviously I'm looking for practice, hence why I reached out to you and Steve and Chase's thing is like, I've got a stock 450. You just come out here and practice. Like, no. We're not riding in front of Chase on day one. Like, that's not happening. And then I don't think this was in the interview. I think this was in the post-interview show. He was like, yeah, you'll be fine. I won't be watching you. I'll be doing supercross. It's like, so like...
I won't be watching.
No, for the practice. For the practice. Not the job swap, the practice. But no,
Yeah,
I said...
well, I mean, but okay, so when you're doing 230s, like he's
that's the
pitboarding
job
for
swap,
you,
but
right?
I'm just
Or
talking
something?
for practice days.
Okay.
Like he was like, you can come out like the week after Houston and just practice. And I'm like, well, that's even worse. I'm fucking down acres away, strapped under the bike, kicking my arms and legs, and no one even fucking knows where I am.
No, you come out, like get Zacho out there. Or someone that would normally be training
only
with.
trust... Honestly, I'll be straight up. I'm not that concerned about speed. I think that's whatever. And like, my style isn't great. We're lots of arms and legs, Volan knee position. Yes,
The
worse, maybe. So like, no, we can't. So, that's my concern. But yeah, that's why I wanted to do day one with Max at Star because I trust like Max is like family at this point. So like, I trust him enough to like. He's not going to make fun of me. And also it's Max. I'll come in and he'll go, I think I see some good things and some bad things. And, have we considered, I think the forks look a little soft. Like, no, that's not a problem, Max. We're fine.
I want to change the gas pressure in the shock.
I don't want to say everything that's been talked about by people because some of these elements might not happen, but multiple parties who would be associated stopped me at Anaheim and were like, so we're going to do this. And yeah, we're looking into this. Like, for instance, sublimated gear has been thrown around. And other things that would match, let's say other things that would make me very much look like a Chase Sexton doppelganger. No, my own number, but font. That's where we come to the font.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have the 7-1, but like a little slice taken out of the one where Chase's
this is
slices.
again. Am I number 71? No, this is what I've been thinking. Am I number 71? What do I do? But anyway, I think this has been. We've probably bored the people that actually like the end of show banter.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've gone 30 minutes on the post show.
This is fucking flown by in comparison
I think this is
to
an
the
adequate amount
actual show. Like this is better. I think this is like the Chase interviews. I think. Maybe less insight in this 30 minutes. But did we say anything insightful? I don't think so. But
fan fights. Lewis is riding again. What else have we covered?
Spooky coincidental texts.
Am I a dick? Coincidental text. Yep. Chase might be in dangerous situation. Okay,
yeah.
all right.
But no, like, again, if you think this last 30 minutes is fucking dumb, don't leave a comment. Because we told you to tune out. The show was done. LVK is an hour-long show. So if you see an hour and 35...
No, you know what? If you do think this is dumb, please leave a comment because it helps our engagement numbers.
I don't know.
Well, I think that has been enough of today's Leatt LVK More Than Moto podcast. Big Lou, always good to see
final
you.
Thing.
I'm sorry that I did not see you this week.
I panicked this morning. Okay. I don't know where to get a body belt from. I need a body belt. So if any companies out there have a body belt, let me know. Because I like the feeling of the snugness. I like to feel snug.
Okay. All right. I think we can get you dialed. I think there's a few companies.
But yes, great times, Kellen. Thank you for doing it. And I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah, I guess we won't see. Well, we'll see each other in 2 weeks.
Are you going to Glendale?
Right?
Oh yeah, shit.
No,
yeah.
but I mean,
I
like
forgot
in
about
between.
that. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So, yep. No Houston, no Glendale, no Seattle for me. But I hope you have fun in Houston.
No,
Are you
I'll
gonna wear
be
a cowboy
inside
hat this
permanently
weekend?
because it's going to be freezing.
We need to use the Jorge Prado wearing a cowboy hat as like a meme a little bit more often. I think that'd be a quality meme to keep posting up.
Right, wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Leatt, Partzilla, Alpinestars back in the show. Appreciate you guys as well as everyone who tunes in every week. And we'll be back next week to recap what happens at Houston and plenty more banter to be had. That is the More Than Moto part of the LVK More Than Moto podcast.